I want to ask you about one more player on offense, Fran, which means that it is time to do our little Ace Hardware temperature check. Take a look at which player is heating up, or in this case, cooling off. With our Ace Hardware temperature check, visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Fran Duffy, former first-round pick. Jahan Dotson, Eagles send a third-rounder to get him. Through 4 games, he's got 5 catches for 25 yards. He's on pace for 106 yards receiving on the season. Will not hit 60 catches. Of course.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Well, he's certainly not on pace.
Sure.
Yes,
definitely not on pace.
As I said before, Olamide Zaccheaus had more receiving yards last week than he has all season. He's like the least productive receiver on a per route basis in quite some time. What's going on?
I personally don't look. We're on the outside looking in, right?
Yep.
So there's going to be stuff that we don't know. But from what I see on film, I don't see anything that makes me think, oh yeah, this guy doesn't have it.
Okay.
So I think it's more of a function of opportunity. It's the same thing I said last week, and there's nothing from this game that's going to make me change my mind on that, because it's not like, oh, he got targeted 8 times and he had 3 catches. Everything that he's being targeted at, I mean, it was like bubble screens, a quick slant. We saw a shallow cross. Like I don't know what else he's supposed to do to make himself more productive. There's the whole like demand targets thing.
Right.
I don't know what else he's supposed to do.
So the perception that Jaylen Hurts does not like throwing to players who are not his top 3 receivers, even if they are open. Do you think that is a fair perception?
I do think that is a fair perception. I don't know, even though with Dotson, though, there was only one play. Because I did try and keep an eye on it.
He's not specifically being turned down?
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a discussion, right? Because from post-game. And so watching the game through on film on Monday, I said, okay, I'm going to, if there's a drop-back pass where Dotson's an early read, is Jalen turning it down? There was only one play where I felt like, all right, like this would be one. I put it in the piece on all PHLY, so you can go back, you can go and you can watch the visual. But they ran basically like a vertical route where they faked the bubble screen, and then Jahan is working down the left sideline against cover 2, and he should be wide open down the sideline. Jalen doesn't even like look to that side, and he just goes right to Goddard in the middle of the field. To me, it looks like that should start over on that side. But that's one play out of, again, 30 dropbacks where that happened. So it's not enough for me to say, oh, yeah, with certainty he doesn't like going to Dotson, because there was just that one where I was like, all right, he's wide open. He should throw it here.
Zach, does this Dotson situation suggest to you a disconnect between the front office and the coaching staff or the quarterback somewhere along the line there?
It doesn't look good, right? Now, I know in these evaluations, what you do is you go back typically to the college eval. You have your pro scouting department. You look at the pro scouting of evals, but I don't know, for instance, how much before you make this trade, how much you say, all right, how specifically does he fit? Like, you're not going to Jalen, I imagine, and saying, Jalen, what do you think of Jahan Dotson in this offense? These things tend to happen pretty quickly, right? Especially that time of year, because teams are putting their rosters together. So, look, Jalen clearly doesn't have chemistry with him yet. We obviously know that. If Jalen's the type of quarterback who has to have that trust in the pass catcher, then you can say there's a disconnect there, because you imagine there would be a learning curve. I got to imagine that if we had spent the offseason talking about the 3rd wide receiver spot, then Howie and Nick had spent the offseason talking about the 3rd wide receiver spot, right? I can't imagine that either side, when I say either side, either coach or front office, was surprised by the idea that they would upgrade the number 3 wide receiver. So I can't imagine.
Certainly not once Devontae Parker retired.
Certainly not once Devontae Parker retired. So I can't imagine there was a disconnect in the front office and the coaching staff, although I still subscribe to Noah Beckers' tweet that we discussed yesterday that this will be put on Nick if this does not work out this year.
I want to know what Becker pop.
But, because I can't claim credit for someone else's thing. I mean, we can ask EJ what that's like, right? It's a joke.
I'll sell that. Zach. You got Julia, too.
Yeah, I don't want to take someone else's joke. But I can say it could extend to the quarterback in that the disconnect there, because if Jalen needs time on task with a player, bringing in someone this time of year could be problematic.
Well, I mean, and if they knew that or thought that, then they should have addressed it sooner, right? If that's
You're
part of the
absolutely right.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were going to look in the draft, honestly, and they clearly didn't.
All right. Well, that'll do it for our Ace Hardware temperature check on the ice cold Jahan Dotson.
We all silly like the mayor.